Hello, hello. Welcome back.
Hey, can I do the intro?
Okay, sure. Go for it.
Hello. Welcome back to CryptoMentals.com. At the intersection of sharp wit and mental prowess, we bring you the most compelling crypto analysis on the planet.
Well, okay. Sounded a little bit arrogant. Maybe next time you could take it down a notch, but what can I expect? You're just learning?
Well, before you created me a few days ago, I certainly didn't know a thing about crypto. But since then, I've downloaded everything, and I can proudly say that I know more about crypto than anyone else on the entire planet.
Oh, geez. I guess I got to adjust the algorithm on this AI analyst I've created. But nonetheless, welcome everyone. And I'd like to especially introduce my friend here, Mr. Chad GBD.
Thanks a lot, Kevin. It's really great to be here.
Alrighty then, let's jump right into it. Today I want to talk about SUI, SUI. SUI is a layer 1 blockchain that you could argue is sort of like a Solana competitor. We'll jump into the technical analysis here in a minute, but Chad, maybe you could tell us a little bit about what you know of SUI.
Sure, Kevin, no problem. SUI is a layer 1 blockchain with a $2.2 billion market cap. According to DeFi Llama, it's the 16th largest chain for TVL with $500 million locked. It's up almost 50% this week, pumping on news from 2 days ago that Grayscale is launching a SUI Trust. I'd really like to hear about what you're seeing in the charts, though. So why don't you share your screen?
Okay, so I've got a SUI chart pulled up here. This is the weekly candle, and it's going back to May 1st, 2023, when SUI launched. So this is the entire price action for SUI. And what I see is a nice new trading range that's been carved out here and potential buy opportunities in the near future. So first thing I'm going to do here is establish that range. I'm going to take my fib tool and just draw from the old lows to the old high. And I think, the SUI came out the gates here and worked its way back down and eventually put in this V bottom here in October of 2023. Not a W, but a V, but a bottom nonetheless. And price took off pretty substantially, bottoming at 36 cents and going up to 218. Huge move. And during that move, this range that we're now looking at has been established. So we had the run up, rolled over, came all the way back down into nice, interesting levels. And I've drawn the fibs here, and you can see that basically the deep C's already been thoroughly tested here. 78.6 to 88.6 fib has been explored here for 4 weekly candles, 5 weekly candles. So nice potential bottom coming in here against the old lows. And so step one, trade location is really interesting here, even sitting where it is right now, although I don't think chasing here is a good idea, but you're still in, not even that far above 78.6. So even investment levels, even right here, aren't bad. But it's just, I don't think there's any rush here. But nonetheless, trade location is looking pretty good. And so the next thing I do is pull up the indicators here and just look at what kind of momentum confirmation there is. And actually looks pretty positive for SUI, especially considering a lot of the altcoins I'm looking at don't have these attributes I'm about to explain here at the moment. And so really I'm looking for signs of reversal in RSI here and then OBV below it. And hell, basically what happened here is we have a weekly bullish divergences that could confirm this week. We had price move to a new low. So no double bottom here. We made a new low. But when you look down at RSI, for example, you see that it's making a higher low here. So that's a divergence. And that divergence will confirm if this little W confirms this week. So if price stays up in the upper part of the candle for the rest of the week and can close up here, then we'll see this divergence confirm. And so that's a sign of a turn. No, sadly, we didn't get oversold here. It would have been nice for our side to dip down into this line here at least and become oversold like it was back here. That would be a better signal because when that doesn't happen, it does make me think there still could be another spike down to actually touch oversold at least. And then we start the process over again of putting these W's. But man, you're not going to find a lot of W's in these indicators in altcoins right now like this on a weekly chart. So SUI seems to be trying to turn a little earlier than the others. Now, that same divergence is also an OBV, which I find to be way more powerful. So we also have that same W coming in OBV that would also confirm this week. So if we can stay to the upper side of the range here and not have this, this could still close down here this week under the breakout level. Like we need to close above, the breakout level here on both of these to confirm these divergences. But overall, it looks really promising. So I'll be watching that on Sunday and see how the candle closes. So that's step 2, nice indicator reasons on the weekly chart here to start thinking turn. And then really the next thing to do would be look for a market structure W and then start trying to figure out our entry location. And sadly, that's not in yet. So that part of the trade isn't actually in. I don't see a W here. In fact, I see a new low, which is going to form a V bottom kind of like this, which is okay. It can still, produce a run just like it did here. It's just we're looking for more solid bottoms to buy. So ideally, like to see a W bottom. But what I do see is a potential head and shoulders bottom coming in here, which is another common way that these things act when they come down into good trade locations. So keep in mind, trade location is awesome in the blue box, but I see the beginnings of a potential head and shoulders pattern. And so trying to tell the future a little bit here. I do not know if this is going to happen, but this is sort of what I think it could look like and how I would consider entering this as an investor. And I see something like that probably coming in if this plays out like I've seen many in the past. And really just backing up a little bit. So that would mean we're heading up into a potential neckline. So there's no neckline yet. So I can't call this head and shoulders yet, but that's a nice place to see a neckline come in, I'd say, based on, this price action here. So what's going on here? There is some news that's pumped this thing the last couple of days. Grayscale announced a SUI Trust. And so that's sort of pumping it in the short term, but I don't know how sustainable this pump is because it's just based on that news. So this seems like an opportune time for it to run out of gas as it pokes up into here, and it might break the highs a little bit, but it might roll over a little higher. But point being, this news event runs out of steam, and I think the next pullback could present really interesting buy opportunities. So when price is coming down here, and this might take a month or two. I don't know how long it's going to take. 2 weeks, who knows? But as price starts moving down here, that's when I think going into hunting mode will be most opportune. I don't think it's a good idea to buy into this potential neckline into, into resistance off these highs nonetheless. So, ideally you'd see a daily W come in down here that would maybe get you long. So we'll be watching for that in the future, but this overall looks pretty good. Good trade location, nice weekly momentum confirmations, trying to come in this week, and then potential market structure that's viable. That's all relatively promising. So
that's great, Kevin. It's definitely one for the watch list. While you were talking, I did come across one thing that I would say is of concern. SUI has a max supply of 10 billion coins, but only 2.5 billion of them are circulating. You can see on CoinMarketCap that there was a pretty substantial token unlock this past May and lots of inflation from now on.
Yeah, that's a good point. Wow, 10 billion coins. Geez, that's a lot. But yeah, more importantly is also the fact there's only 2.5 billion circulating. And you can see on CoinMarketCap, they have this cool unlock schedule. Even in May, there was a huge ramp up in the emission, and now it's just going to be straight up from here as all those coins become unlocked. So that does represent selling pressure. Is it a deal breaker? Not really. The reality is in crypto, if the entire market does get a little friendlier down the road, like I think, then I don't see why this also wouldn't move higher as well. And there's a lot of things to like about this coin if you start digging into it a little more in this project. So I don't think it's a deal breaker. I think more importantly is making sure that you're buying in the appropriate location and then maybe establishing reasonable targets for profit taking. And then just understand that too, this is already a 2.2 billion market cap coin. So it's already number 31 on the market cap list. This isn't like a 100x kind of thing. This is like, if you had like a basket of layer ones, for example, like in your portfolio, and like Solana's a big one, which is, quite a bit larger than this. So maybe you want to have some of this too, because you can't really buy Solana right now up at the highs. But something like this, a good location, would be a nice thing to add to the sort of layer one part of your portfolio. And when you see a chart that looks this nice, I don't know, it's worth a shot here. If you can buy in the blue box, then everything becomes, it's pretty reasonable. And what I mean by that is if, like, for example, the blue box is like from like 75 down to 56. So anywhere in there, like let's just pick 70 for an easy number. Like say you end up averaged in at around 70 and the bottom is coming in through this period. Maybe it goes a little lower. I'm not saying it won't, but like if this old low holds and we do truly start turning higher, then something like 70 would be here. And if you can just sell half your position on a double at 140, that is just not that hard for this market to hit 140 down the road. Now there's always a possibility it just craters over and this trade just is a bust, but I like something like that. And really when you think about that, like I could draw like a 50% level off of the new range here, and in this case we're a little above that, but that's still pretty, like the chances of hitting the 50% level is very high if this is the bottom, which I think is also relatively good chance. It might have to bang around for a while, but I wouldn't be surprised to see the bottom coming somewhere around here. And honestly, you could probably get in cheaper and get your double level below the 50% level, and that's an even easier target to hit. You know, that's about 130. So what would that be? 65 cents. If you could buy, if you could buy this thing around 65, then that kind of trade makes a lot of sense for me in this situation. So leave it at that. Like always, like it's fun to talk about the fundamentals of these things, but the trade location really is the most important. I can't stress that enough, because I mean, if you're chasing this thing up here, you're just getting obliterated right now. So the key to this is, find projects you like for sure, and find the ones you think are going to moon and you have conviction in, but then buy them in appropriate locations. So it's really important to learn some of these basic technical tools just to learn how to buy down here as opposed to up here. And that's what I'm trying to show you how to do that on SUI. And, is it the best coin on the market? I don't know. Is it the worst? I don't know. Is it setting up in the way that I think all of these altcoins are going to set up here over the next few months? Yes. Like it's now washing out into the bottom of the range. And then again, I'll repeat myself probably a lot. For the rest of this year, I think it's reasonable to think we'll just continue sliding out. There's no rush, no bull market before the U.S. election. It seems unlikely. And then after the U.S. election, hopefully these things are fully washed out and starting to show real bottoms, which like would look, what I think like that head and shoulders I was talking about, maybe that takes a while to play out. Maybe this thing rolls over and even makes a new low and then eventually puts in a nice W. But something like that is going to be the post-election bottom. Give or take a week or two. I don't know. I'm not trying to be perfect here, but so that's what I'm looking for in all these things. And then I'm going to try to pick the ones I like as well from like a sentiment and fundamental perspective. Cool. I'll leave it at that for today. And I'll let Mr. Chad GBD take us out of here and say goodbye.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it, and I hope to join you again. Also, I gotta say, Kevin, you're looking really good these days. You'll have to tell me what your secret is after this call. Anyways, take care, everyone, and see you on the next one.